Yo, what up, guys? Beside you here with a champion guide for Yakarl the Scourge, a barbarian faction champion whose avatar or whose background doesn't look like it's from the barbarian faction at all, because most of them will see them chilling in the desert right here because they are barbarians. But his avatar or his background looks icy and snowy because he turned the entire desert into snow, a snowstorm basically. That means his skills is going to have freeze or some sort of stuff like that. How can you obtain this legendary void champion who can hit hard and also not get any weak hit against spirit force or any other affinities magic? He doesn't care. You can obtain him for free if your rank or if your clan is high enough rank right here from the clan shop. Buy him daily until you obtain it. Is totally worth it, especially if you're trying to beat Fire Knight hard mode. So that's what I built this champion for. Finally, after chilling in my vault for a while, I finally put some books into him, and right now he's serving me in that purpose. So that's the second champion I'm building for Fire Knight. Yesterday's video we talked about Gore. All right, what does this champion do? Like I said, freeze on the A1. That's what you will expect from this champion due to the way it's designed. It's not one of those champions that looks snowy and icy and doesn't have freeze.
If you want to talk to me direct. Don't go through the corners.
But no, this champion actually has it. Each hit has a 40% chance of placing freeze. When you put books on this skill, it will be a 50% chance of placing freeze. So unfortunately for us, the support tree of the Masteries does not boost this from 50% to 55%. If you want to boost this chance of placing freeze, you will have to go towards the difference tree and go all the way to the bottom of it. But people want damage out of this champion. They don't want him just there for the freeze, so they usually go towards the support tree and the attack tree. We'll talk about his masteries later, but I just wanted to point this out that this is one of his main way that he keeps the boss turn meter down. If you do know what I'm talking about, the boss in the Fire Knight gets his turn meter reduced by freeze debuff. So whenever you put freeze on him, you won't see the freeze debuff on the boss. Instead, it will be converted into turn meter reduction, a particular percentage. So that's why freeze is now viable for that Fire Knight hard mode. And it's a content that is one of the most difficult to beat right now in raid, because a lot of players, still end game players, can still beat it at level 10. So Yakarl the Scourge is coming into most teams as one of the champions that can make sure that once the boss shield is down, it stays down. So that's the A1 right here that places freeze whenever he uses it. When you have ally attack champions or counter attack champions and that A1 goes in, it also helps to reduce the turn meter. On the A2, he also has a freeze right here on the A2. Not just a freeze, it also brings another debuff that you need on that boss. Slow speed, you need to put decreased speed on that boss for 3 turns. Even if it just for 1 turn, it will work for 1 turn either. So the boss doesn't go fast and take his turn really fast. So freeze and turn meter reduction, freeze, which is turn meter reduction, and slow speed will make sure the boss doesn't just gap you. The boss is 150 speed, but the way he moves, you think is even higher than that, at least for the level where I'm trying to beat him at level 50. Level 5 hard mode. So that's this second skill right here. I'm only concerned about this part that says he plays decreased speed and freeze, but check out the second part. It also steals 100% of the target turn meter and places increased speed on Yakarl. So that's also good, I guess. But this 100% turn meter still, you won't see the boss turn meter just disappear like you see in level 20 content. No, this is hard mode. So definitely the boss turn meter will not be reduced just like that. The amount of turn meter reduction you can do to those bosses in 25 and above is limited. So you just see a small amount of turn meter reduction, which is still something nice. All right, that's this A2. A1 and A2, those are the 2 important things that Yakarl will be doing for you in battle. What about the A3? It also has a freeze. This freeze will serve you most likely against the wave. If you don't want to take too much damage from the wave as you're coming along, this will attacks all enemies. That's an AoE hit right here. It's a 75% chance of placing freeze debuff for 1 turn. If you hold on until the enemies have their turn meter full above 75%, the chance of landing this freeze will be 100%. So without booking it, it will still be on a 4-turn cooldown, so you cannot increase that chance by putting books on this. But if you want to increase the chance of freezing the enemies, especially the waves, you have to wait until they're at 75%. So to counter that, I make Yakarl not start the battle with his A3. I make him start the battle with his A2, and when the turn meter is about to get filled, that's when he goes in with the A3. So you might not want to tell him to start the battle with his A3, except you don't mind him freezing only 75% chance. I want everybody frozen without the chance of them they cannot resist it. It's 100%, they cannot resist it. That's right there. This chance increased to 100% against target over 75% turn meter. So that's the important thing to note about this skill. Use your team setup, team presets, and make him use his skill as the second skill, except you're using him for something like the other content where you want him using this skill first. All right, for his passive, this champion will increase the damage. This champion inflicts by 10% for each champion in the battle under freeze. So if he freezes 4-5 enemies, his damage will be increased by what, 40%, 50%. That's a huge amount of damage. Normally when you freeze enemy, generally they'll take less damage. That's what the freeze debuff does for you. You can freeze them, but they'll take less damage. That's why a lot of people prefer stun as a way of controlling the enemies than freeze. That way they can still take full damage. But Yakarl right there, when he freezes the enemy, he will still benefit from hitting them 50% harder, 40% harder, depending on how many enemies are frozen. Of course, you can't freeze the boss. Like I said, the freeze debuff will never be on the boss, so he does not benefit from this passive against bosses at all. So it also decreases damage he received by 10% for each champion in the battle that is under a freeze debuff. When they have frozen, how can they hit you? It makes no sense. I mean, you have them frozen, how can they hit you? I mean, maybe if you have 1 or 2 frozen, right, and then the other 3 or 4 wants to hit him, you take 20% less damage. I guess that also helps in a way. On the active buff, he places an unkillable buff on himself if he kills an enemy under freeze. So when he kills an enemy under freeze, he gets an unkillable. It should just say unkillable whenever he kills an enemy. It shouldn't have to be when, well, he only attacks people under freeze, I guess, so he can deal more damage to them, right? This is the part I failed to mention. He also ignores 50% of the target's defense if they are under freeze. So whenever you see an enemy that is frozen, you want to kill that one first, because he will ignore 50% of their defense right there and hit a lot harder. So that means this champion most likely will want to be built in a savage set. You can use this champion anywhere because it has an increased attack in all battles by 33%. It's not just arena, or it's not just what do you call this content we're using now for dungeons. Not just dungeons or arena, it's everywhere. You can be in the leader slot to boost your allies 33% attack right here. This is a high one. This is on the high side. Being a void affinity champion also makes it viable in every content, every stage that you come across. All right, that's his skill description. Let me go into and show you how I built him without wasting more time and taking into the battle where he's gonna be shining for us today. So Yakarl the Scourge, you find him right here, recently built yesterday on my account, and full books. Yes, I put books into him. He's worth being booked because you want these skills being done a lot in battle. So just like every damage dealer, you want high damage stats on them. Cruel damage set, what do you call this in now? Savage set. Those are the 3. Lethal set. All those damage set that will ignore the enemy's defense is what this champion will benefit from. So that's crit damage set, cruel set, savage set, which one again? Cruel set. Those are the 3 I will highly recommend you put on this champion. So I went with double cruel set, and I mean 1 set of cruel, 1 set of crit damage sets. Why didn't I give him savage set? Because I'm not going to be using this champion for the arena. If you're going to be using him as your arena nuker, go ahead and put savage set on him, because the same way he hits hard for wave content in dungeons, that's the same way he will hit hard against this in arena waves, arena enemy waves. So I would like to save my savage set for my specific arena champions who are specifically built for the arena. I don't want to give my best savage sets to somebody who's just going to be used in the what do you call this content now, Fire Knight only. So that's why I'm not giving him my best savage set. Even my Cold Heart doesn't have savage set. Even my Royal Guard doesn't have savage set. So you see, I try to build those champions with sets that will still do damage, will not ignore as much damage, but I'll be fine with whatever damage they produce. I'm not trying to hit 2 million to 3 million hits on those type of champions. So that's my idea behind not giving him savage. But if you're going to be using this champion in the arena, I highly recommend you give him that savage set or that lethal set if you farmed it enough. So those are the damage set I'll recommend on this champion. Is there any other set If you're coming in new to raid, this champion does need accuracy. Yes, from the A1 and A2 that lands what and lands and freeze, he does need accuracy. So if you're new, you're just obtaining this champion, you don't yet have good savage set, maybe perception might be just be the way for you to go. But guess what? You still need his crit damage glove, you still need his crit damage amulet. Those are the two ways he will do damage. Or if you don't have enough crit damage, you can go with crit rate glove, a crit damage amulet. You still need crit damage on this champion. It's not a champion you just build it high HP, high defense, high speed. No. Although some people might just build it with only enough accuracy to land against that boss and do no damage, but I'm thinking who else is going to be doing damage for you? Maybe you bring around a ninja, you bring around a dark kill, somebody to take down the boss while he is keeping the turn meter down. Maybe that's the way you want to go. I decided to put some damage into him because he can hit hard. So accuracy on the banner, yes. Speed on the boots. Normally damage dealers will have attack on the boots. I didn't want to have too much of that. I think accuracy on the chest, just so he has enough accuracy to land those debuffs. Now for hard mode, you're looking at 200 to 300 accuracy for at least up to level 5. If you go up to 6, 7 and 10, you need even more, about 350 accuracy. So my total stats for my accuracy is looking like 307. If you add that little Fire Knight bonus I'm getting, I'm going up to 331, which is more than enough I need to beat the level where I am, which is level 5 hard mode Fire Knight. So that's what this champion was built for. Check out his speed right there. This is not a slow champion. Normally damage dealers are built with slow speed, 200 speed, 180 speed, but he's there to place freeze, so he can't be that low that the boss is rolling laps around him. No, he needs to be going one-on-one for the boss. So the boss, I think at this level, is about 150 speed, like I said, or 125 speed for level 5 or level 4. So he's coming right there trying to take 2 turns before the boss can take 1 turn. With all the help that he can get from all his other allies, maybe he'll get 2 turns before the boss can take 1 turn. So that's why I built him with this high speed. Yes, he does need it for this Fire Knight hard mode. You can't come in here with slow champions at all, except you have a counter attack champion right here or an ally protection champion. All right, that's how I built him. Attack right there, 4k speed, and crit damage 300%. I just saw this right now. That's a whole number. Now you're looking at my crit rate, right? Why is it not 100%, right? It's because I'm running this champion with Farrakhan the Fat. He's always going to be pairing with Farrakhan the Fat, at least for that Fire Knight content. So I have no problem with crit rate. Once Farrakhan the Fat buffs that crit rate up, he gets his crit rate to 100%. 30% increased crit rate, that's what Farrakhan the Fat brings to the battle. And maybe I'll even run it with Lanarchy sometimes, which also adds a crit rate to the team. So that's why I have him at 70%. But if you're going to be using this champion for the arena and other content, 100% crit rate all the time is what you need. With me going 70% or 77%, that's what made my crit damage this high. And also because I would not using savage set. If I use savage set on this champion, my crit damage will be probably 250 or 230 because I have my best crit damage savage set on somebody else. This is just spare that he won't hit hard on. All right, now I've explained my sets and how I built him. I didn't show you my masteries on this champion. Normal damage dealer masteries, nothing special. He's going towards the support tree, like I said. This is helping for the wave. When it hits them the first time without his AoE or with a single hit, it will decrease their turn meter a little bit so they don't get any ideas and take a turn. And this will not increase the duration of his freeze. It will not increase, but it might increase the duration of his slow speed that he places on the boss. Doesn't need it, but I don't think there's any other thing for me to put, because even this one, people don't die during this battle. So that's where I went towards this fence tree right here, War Master. This is not a champion that has triple hit on his A1, so there's no need for Giant Slayer. You might make an argument for Flawless Execution or for Hem Smasher. If he's solely your arena nuker, this is the way to go, Hem Smasher or Flawless Execution. But for PvE content, what I built him for, War Master all the way. That's the best way to go for PvE. All right, let's head over into the battle and test him out in some content and show this champion how he works against this Fire Knight boss that has been a menace throughout this time since it was launched. Every other dungeon has been beat at the highest level hard mode 10, Spider, Dragon, hard mode 10, even Ice Golem that is a little bit tricky has been beat at hard mode 10. But this Fire Knight just refuses to get down because of this mechanic that says you must bring in specific champions, either counter attack or freeze to keep his turn meter down. All right, this is the team that I'm hoping to help me beat this stage of the Fire Knight hard mode. I've been able to beat it up to stage 5, and that's as far as I can go for now until gear or new champions are built for that purpose. But for now, we have this team to put together. Yakarl the Scourge being the leader slot, being the only champion who have a reasonable aura that we can use right here. And his preset looks something like this. He's starting the battle with his A2 so that when the enemies get their turn meter over 75%, he can now go in there and use his A3 next, which will freeze them without being resisted. So that's for the first battle. And for round 2, the same thing. He's going to start the battle with his A2 and then focus on using his A3 to freeze those enemies, because if they're not frozen, they'll probably kill my Cold Heart or somebody else. So I need them frozen all the time, the enemies especially. I do not have decreased defense coming in right here to help me take down this wave faster, so it might be a slower run. But when I have Lydia in here, it's a 100% chance the wave go down so easily, so fast. But then against the boss, the shield doesn't go down so fast. So that's why I brought in the Cold Heart to help me take down that shield. Immediately my 2 ally attack champions take their turn, and Yakarl the Scourge can now start the battle with his A2. If I don't have Lydia in here, I let him start with his A1. But with Lydia out of here, Cold Heart will definitely take down this shield. So I'm setting him to start the battle with his A2, because I know that shield will be down by the time Farrakhan the Fat and Anarchist takes a turn. So that's my setup right here. I have to set him to use priority 1 and 2, because sometimes these champions decide not to use their skills when it's available. I don't want to take any chances for the AI doing that sort of stuff and making me fail the battle. So that's what his setup looks like. Remember, it all depends on your speed tunes, whether you're using him in certain teams. All right, let's see how the battle run goes against the wave. Remember, I'm trying to see if he's gonna start the battle with his A2. This is the ally attack. His A1 does land that freeze. Another ally attack skill. Now this is him. He's gonna use his A2 next. Oh, people are already frozen. He still went ahead and froze Farrakhan. The last champion that was not frozen, he's like, here's your freeze. You missed out on a freeze, so here you go. So he's wise enough to look at who is already frozen and attack who is not frozen. That was smart thinking by him right there. But let me see if he's not smart enough to not use his skill when the enemies are already frozen though. His A3 does land an AoE freeze. I don't know, has he already used it? Now he uses it. So he's smart enough to not use it when everybody is also frozen. Yakarl, you're smart, dude. You're smart. Some enemies, some champions in red will use their freeze even if everybody is also frozen. Kind of silly, I think. But he is smart enough to not use it when everybody is frozen. So right now, if this last champion is frozen, he's not going to use his A3. That's what it means, I hope. Don't use your A3. Save it for the next wave. Save it for the next wave. Okay, we are down. So that means it will now be available to also be used in wave 2, because I still need them frozen. I don't want them killing my Cold Hearts. If they don't get frozen and they hit your allies, you will go down. The battle will fail. So that's the dicey part about this battle. That's why most people bring in somebody like a Duchess, somebody like a Helicat to do block damage. There are many ways to get through this boss fight, but for now, this is how I found that works for me. I think it's like a 99.9% because if Cold Heart dies, this run fails. So if you have a small chance that somebody doesn't get frozen during the wave, they will hit you once. It's not gonna kill me, I know, but if 2 enemies hit me on this wave, this battle will fail. So maybe next time I'll find a better team that will not rely on somebody not dying in the wave, because freeze is not a reliable way of controlling enemies at all. Because whenever it fails, I'm like, damn. And that's Cold Heart using as Hatika on the last champion just so they don't get a turn. Okay, let's head over to the boss battle and see what he will do against the boss. Let's put it on 1 speed. Yakarl the Scourge. Everybody, Farrakhan says hit. Everybody obeys Farrakhan. The next one, Lanarkis says hit. Everybody obeys Lanarkis. Well, 3 people obey her, him included. And now the shield is down. What is he gonna do? He's A2. Check out the boss. He got resisted. His slow speed got resisted. There's always that 3% chance that you will get resisted, even if you have enough accuracy. I'm hoping my Gory will take it down. Yes, Gory is helping me right now. So when will my decrease speed be up again? Because if you don't land decrease speed on this boss, he will eventually get a turn. That's me reducing his turn meter a little bit with my A1. So I'm still waiting for his A2 to come around. Damn, the boss is about to get a turn. Come on, boss, don't do this to me. Yes, he's still using his A1 and keeping it down while he's waiting for his A2 to come back around. That's the A2 we're waiting for. That's the A2. So hopefully he doesn't get resisted on your runs, because if he gets resisted and doesn't land that slow speed, this run becomes a little bit dicey. Now that the slow speed is on the boss, this boss turn meter will stay below 50% this entire time. Well, most of the time. With my 2 ally attack champions going in right here, hopefully he always joined the attack from Lanarkis, and he didn't land that decrease speed this time around. So that's more decrease speed. I mean, that's more turn meter reduction from speed, from freeze. Yes, stay below 50%. I'm looking at that turn meter this entire time. I'm not even looking at the boss bar or whatever is happening right here. I'm just looking at the turn meter, and this makes the run 100%. If your wave content is safe and the boss battle once slow speed lands is also safe. At least that's how I built it. And like I said, it's not like 100%, maybe 99%, maybe 95%. I have to run a lot of battles and see what's the percentage of failure in this team. But that's what Yakarl the Scourge can do for you. Even if you don't have it in this exact team, head over to the Airheads Artifact Extractor or Team Optimizer and let it suggest teams that you can pair with your Yakarl the Scourge that you own. So might be using a Skull Crusher, might be using a Valkyrie with him. There are other champions who can pair well with this champion, a counter-attack team, or even a team like this that doesn't want the boss to get a turn. That's the best way I feel like I could do it right now. Hopefully when we'll be able to beat the higher level of this boss, we'll also put out that type of content for Fire Knight stage 6 to stage 10. For now, this works fine in this content. Alright guys, that's this champion. How much damage did he deal? 2 million damage. He's the main damage dealer in the team. Like I said, if he is in a savage set, he will be hitting much harder and not let the boss last that long. All right, before we end this battle though, we have to show this champion off in the arena, because this is not the champion that is only used in the Fire Knight Hard 10, although that made him very valuable this time around in raid. But I'm just gonna show him what he can do against a team like this. Let me put him right here. Recently used. Let me just show him off and see how much damage he can do, because it's not, like I said, it's not just a Fire Knight champion. Turn meter boosted, increase attack, increase accuracy, and let me see his A2, how much damage it does without decrease defense and weaken on the enemy. 49k. So if you have decrease defense and weaken, that's how we're able to see about over 100k in the this thing. The battle will just run in the dungeons. So decrease defense and weaken makes him hit a lot harder for sure. So without decrease defense and weaken, it will just be hitting less. But what about the AoE hit? Let's see how much it does. I saw 31k and all that. So even if he doesn't kill them, what happens? They're frozen. So this is champion that is totally what you're building also for the arena. So if you're not yet at the hard level of the Fire Knight, he's not going to help you in Fire Knight 25 or Fire Knight 20. No, don't build him for that content. Build him for the arena instead if you just obtain him. And then finally, when you're able to beat Fire Knight, you can now step into that team and help you also. The speeds you need on this champion will depend on where you use him. Obviously for the arena, it doesn't need to be about 250 speed like I built him, because there are other champions who will boost him along before he even gets a turn. All right, that's my champion build or champion guide for Yakarl the Scourge, a champion that I just brought out of the vault recently only to be used in Fire Knight. And yeah, he works fine for me for that content. I'll be building other champions to help me secure that run, maybe in the higher levels. Maybe this other champion that does have freeze also on her A1. What's her name? Shiromani? I forgot her name. Let's see what's her name again. She has not yet been built on my account. There she is. Shirimani, yes. So she does also have that freeze on her A1. She has it on, is a 3-hitter, 25%, while he has a 40%. So you see why everybody's building him instead of her, although she will also help him because she has it on our A2 and also on our A1. So if you pair them together, including the Gory, it's a crazy freeze. Basically, it's an allure going again and again and again. 3 of them just make sure that boss doesn't get any ideas and puts that shield back up, which you don't want. All right, let me know what you think about this champion, Yakarl the Scourge, if you built him out, if you've already obtained him, or if you're hoping to get him soon. For blessings, I didn't talk about his blessing because it doesn't really matter. If you're going to be using him for the arena, of course, Soul Reap. But if you're going to use him for Fire Knight, some people might even go crazy and put Phantom Touch on him because they want that extra hit. I'm not that crazy about hits. I already have a cold that's coming in right there, so I might go Cruelty. No, it's a legendary champion, so you definitely want to go with something that suits him. Brimstone and Polymorph is not the way to go, so maybe Intimidating Presence is a damage dealer. You have to go towards one of these damage dealing ones, right? I don't know. I have to check out a hit and see which blessings are being recommended, but a lot of people will be going for arena based Soul Reap, which is what you need the most damage dealers. Even if you don't kill them, you still be able to hit extra. All right, let me know what you think about this Yakarl the Scourge champion guide. If I got anything wrong, always correct me in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe for more daily raid Shadowlands content, and let me know your teams you're using to beat that Fire Knight hard mode and what level have you gotten to. Can you get past stage 5 hard? I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.